I'm now recording. Okay, so here at Vorago, a couple things we need to be aware of. There will be certain times in the fight when, especially as a necromancer, we want to have the cease ability available. That's going to be inside of your defensive abilities. It is going to be the ability that has a sword with like a cross out symbol on it. You'll want to put that on one of your bars and go ahead and keybind that to something simple. I like to use C. Other than that, we are also going to want to have access to either a vitality pot or what I like to use is transfigure. And that's going to be at the start of the fight. I think it's easier to use transfigure because the timing isn't quite so difficult. Um, so at the very start of the fight, that's what we'll be using. So I will call out when to Bitpot or when to transfigure. This specific week that we're dealing with this week, as there are different rotations that happen in different weeks. There's actually 6 different rotations for Vorago, and we are currently in the team split week. And so I'm just going to do a brief rundown of the phases, what we're going to need to do, and what's going to happen in those phases. Phase 1, you are going to be climbing. Rather difficult to explain. I think I can get a diagram. There should be a diagram available, and I will forward that to the group chat, rather to the voice chat that we're in now. I'll give you a diagram of just how you're going to proceed. So at the start of the fight, we're going to obviously transfigure Bitpot. It's going to put us into the arena, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to provoke the boss, and then you're going to proceed immediately to climbing off the diagram that I sent you. So it's going to be to the west side of the arena. You're going to climb up. Once you get to the end of the ledge, you're going to make sure that you have an inventory space available. And you are going to, when I call it, provoke the boss. When you provoke the boss, it's going to aggro onto you. You're going to want to keep your HP high here. You can even use something like Barricade if you needed to. I'm going to get into a position, and then I'm going to provoke the boss back. And then all you're going to have to do from that point is click on the boss, and you will jump to his back. Following that, we'll quickly DPS him down, and it will go into phase. And at that point, we'll be moving into the next phase. Phase 2, fairly simple. We're just going to start with a 5 bleed cycle. So in order to clear these bleeds, we have 3 different approaches, but 2 that we're going to cover. One way is to use freedom, and the other way is to put a specific amount of tiles between you and that boss. I believe it's 7 tiles, 7 or 10 tiles. I think it's 7 though. During the initial start of that, what's going to happen is I'm going to do my best to have the aggression or to use a provoke ability right before the boss dies, so I have the initial aggro. I'm going to take the first 2 bleeds, you are going to take the second 2 bleeds, and then I'm going to take the final bleed. How these bleeds work is you will see Vorago basically smash the ground. You'll see him kind of like dip forward, and he'll put his arms. It's a very noticeable animation. And so once you see that the second time, at that point you'll want to again use the provoke ability. And after the first one, you're going to go ahead and freedom, and then the second one you can face away from him and surge, or you can use the dive ability or escape. At that point I'll be provoking. Just know that if you don't put that 7 tiles between you, you will take continuous bleed damage. It acts as slaughter, a melee ability. I believe it's slaughter. It's one of the melee abilities is what it will show. Dismember, I'm sorry. Yeah, dismember. Following that, we will have a period when we're going to want to use that cease ability. So essentially, we'll have a chat pop up that says, you know, Vorago is going to reflect damage. At that point, we're going to want to use cease for our conjures, as it will, you know, your damage will basically hit me and vice versa. Following that, we'll have a red bomb attack, which you cannot actually mitigate. And before I forget about it, you are going to be what's called the bomb tank, since it's just a duo. What that means is you're going to keep I believe it's 3 to 5 tiles is ideal. 3 to 5 tiles away from melee distance. And what that does is it causes Vorago to hit you with magic attack damage, which is going to be in the form of bombs rather than melee. So I'll be taking melee damage. You'll be taking magic damage. You can mitigate magic damage with all of your normal abilities: Reflect, Devotion, Barricade, Debilitate, Disruption Shield, Divert, Resonance, all that good stuff. Anticipation also is helpful. And again, you have your freedom for your stuns and binds as well. Although that's not technically a like damage reducing defensive. Following that link, yeah, you'll take that red bomb, and the red bomb is essentially going to reset all of your defensives, but it's not a issue, not a huge issue. I will do my best at specific times during the fight to go ahead and intercept and barricade, which will allow you to not have to worry about any damage. You'll be able to see that indicated by a cross on your buff bar. And if you hover over it, it'll tell you that you've been intercepted. Going into phase 3, this is going to be when our rotation-specific attacks start. So this week being team split, what's going to happen at the start of phase 3, Rago is going to designate each of us with a color. One of us is going to be blue, one of us is going to be red, and he's going to spawn these boxes on the ground in the arena at random. Whatever color he happens to pick you with, blue or red, you're going to proceed to get inside of the barrier of that blue or red box, and then stand in that box until the attack is finished. Following that, quite simple. If you don't get inside there, you're going to take a pretty massive hit. I believe it's about 6.9k normal, somewhere in that range. So it is a very substantial amount of HP. So just do your best to get inside that. Following that, we'll have that link attack again, which is going to be where he reflects damage. I will do my best to call out when those are happening, so that you can prepare to cease. Better to off early, I think, rather than late. Following that, we'll have another team split, and then another one of those red bombs. Moving into phase 4, we have what's called the waterfall. So Rago's going to spawn a waterfall at one of the corners of the arena. We're going to have to get behind that waterfall. So we're going to go all the way up into the corner. I will do my best to do a clone skip, which would be the next attack that's going to happen. And all you have to do as the bomb tank or DPS role is whatever direction Vorago is walking towards, like I'll be walking him across the arena, you need to go opposite of that. So if I'm going east, you need to be going west. If I'm going north, you need to be going south, etc., etc. If we don't get that, if we don't get apart from each other fast enough, he will spawn a clone in, at which point you'll have to kill it. It's no big deal, but it does significantly prolong the fight. Following the clone, we'll have another team split. So again, the red and blue designated, and then we'll have more of those bleeds. So again, I will take 1 and 2. You will take 3 and 4. First one you'll freedom. The second one you'll dive or surge, and then I will take the 5th one. Then we'll have 3 more autos and another link. And then we'll repeat that entire cycle until the waterfall has occurred 3 times. Moving into our final phase for normal mode. we are going to start with our team split, so the red and blue thing. And we're going to go into basically the best DPS rotation that we can, doing our best to push him back. We definitely could be using things like Death Mark, Death Skulls, Tier 90 spec, T95 spec, Finger of Death, Volley, um, anything like that. Our best damage abilities, essentially. If we don't walk him back fast enough, we're going to get that reflect damage attack again, to where we're going to need to hop off of him, at which time he will start to push us back. So essentially how Phase 5 works is either we push him to the edge of the arena, and he is finished with the Maul of Omens, or he pushes us all the way back to before where we start the phase at which point we would be a fail, and we would die. If after that link and 3 autos happens, we'll go into we'll have 3 bleeds rather than 5. It will be whoever is closest if we're both in melee distance, which you should always be a couple tiles at least south of me, or I think it's east, or I can't remember the direction. You need to be a couple tiles behind me, ideally, so that way I'm taking the bleeds rather. But you may end up getting a bleed, so if you do, just remember you can use that freedom, or you can dive or escape away, or turn around and surge. I think it should be a problem. And that brings me to my final point, the Maul of Omens. So after each individual phase, there will be a piece of the Maul appear on the ground. You as TL5, which is bomb tank, essentially, and yeah, DPS, you will be picking those up since we're in a duo, and you're going to be the one assembling that Maul. And when we push him far enough in phase 5, you're going to basically click on him with that Maul in your inventory, and it will automatically use the Maul to kill Vorago. That's probably a lot, although really nothing to it but to do it. So again, start fight. We're going to go west. We're going to climb the few obstacles in the diagram that I've posted. Once you've crossed the gap, at that point you can voke, ensure you have an inventory space. And I'll get into position quickly. After that voke, I will voke back and you'll jump. And then from there, I'll do my best to call out what's happening along the way. Any questions, concerns? Red B. So, I guess I had told you wrong. Anticipate does actually reduce damage by 10%. And there's a couple things that I wanted to correct here. The red bomb can be mitigated by barricade by the person tanking the bomb, which ideally should be you if you're in that 3 to 5 tile range away from melee distance. Wanted to talk about just briefly about when you enter the arena. So once you have the portal attuned, if you set the arrival point to, I have to look at exactly what it says. I can't remember exactly what it says. You can right-click the portal and set arrival point, and it's going to be inside the borehole. And when you come inside the borehole, all you need to do is surge one time, and that will put you at the optimal position for TL5. One other thing I wanted to note is that I was incorrect on the how the bleeds work in P5, and exactly how I wanted to explain just a bit in more depth exactly how P5 works. So essentially, the push back and forth, every time that we do 20,000 damage, we push the boss back one tile towards victory. And every tick that he damages us, he's going to push us back one tile. So where I was wrong at was that the bleeds actually go to pretty much whoever's doing the most damage. it can be essentially you'll see him look back and forth between me and you. If I'm doing more damage at the given moment when the bleeds drop, he will be targeting me, and vice versa. Um, it's very, very important that we clear these bleeds as fast as possible, as it's almost a guarantee that we lose should we continue taking damage from bleeds. Because as I said, every single tick that we take damage from him, we're going to get pushed back. So very, very important to have those. I also said you can go ahead and skulls immediately upon P5, but since it's team split, uh, we're not going to want to do that because we're going to have to be tick perfect, and it's very possible that one of those bounces onto the reflect. So just omit the death skulls um, from the equation. It's probably a good time to turn your books on. Um, check your divine charges, quivers, nexuses, rune pouches. Make sure you got auto retaliate off. Inside is off. You got an aura that you're going to plan on using for be Majorat, Equilibrium, Supreme Invigorate, Familiars. I've kind of already discussed that. You can go ahead and take a sip of that overload and prepare to have your Bit Pot, or like I said, Transfigure is probably better. And I am challenging. It should give you a pop-up message that says to accept that challenge. If it doesn't, right-click Vorago and click Challenge, option number 1, and you can go ahead and Transfigure or Power Burst of Vitality right now. And again, you're going to immediately climb over that gap. As you are doing, I'm going to provoke the boss and start taking some bomb damage. And again, once you get to the top, you can go ahead and hit that poke ability. Make sure you have that one inventory space. And you can go ahead and poke. I'm going to the spot I need to be. Oh. And I'm there. You can now jump on his back. Great job, great job. You don't have to do any kind of crazy damage here. Really, if you let me do all the damage, I will get the poke. That didn't quite work. That is okay. You can go ahead and I will heal other you. And we're all good. Going into P2. I want to come here about southwest. And I'll do my best to take the first 2. So remember, the bleeds are coming. That is 1 for me. That is, I think you took 1. You took the second 2, so I'm going to take that one. And then I got 1 more I need to take. Alright, and we can prepare to hit that cease button. Be 3 autos, and then we're going to cease. And go ahead and hit that cease button for us. I'm going to hit this ball here. And just continue ceasing. No worries. And you got a red bomb coming. And we can hop back on the boss. And that's going to be bleeds. Bleed 1. Okay, you can take 2 and 3. That's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and poke. That's going to be 4. And that's going to be 5. And again, we can go ahead and do a little bit more damage. And then just prepare to hop off the boss. Go ahead and hit that cease button. Cease. I'll get this gravity orb over here. And just click the boss. Don't have to click rapidly, but just continue clicking on the boss. I forgot to mention that. I apologize. And then we can do some big damage here. You can drop a skulls, you can drop a, yeah, you could drop whatever big damage you got. I'm going to go ahead and apply a death mark here. Drop some big damage. And that is going to be phase. He is dead. And as he's jumping around here, if he does jump, if you see him like kind of flick towards you, you'll want to get away from him, kind of like that. Oh. That was kind of tricky. And now we're on to the team split. So remember, if you're blue, go to blue. If you're red, go to red. And the bomb got me through the ether there. I am blue, which means you are red. And you got it. He's right next to the boss. So as soon as you stop being blue or red, now you are good to go ahead and attack that boss. I'm going to go ahead and provoke here. I need to get in melee distance. And go ahead and hit that cease button. Cease. Cease. I'm being a bad teammate. Team split again. You are red. I'm sorry. Please go in there. Oh, okay. Well, you know, it happens to the best of us. And I'm going to go ahead and intercept you now. And heal up. And that's going to be phase. And remember, we're going into phase 4. It's going to be the waterfall. We need to get into the corner behind the waterfall. And we'll have an overload check here directly. So just be aware of that. I forgot to say you can use darkness as well. And waterfall is going to be northwest. So again, whatever way Vorago is walking away from, that's what way we're going to want to. Okay, it didn't do the thing. I messed this up. It's okay. And go ahead and hit that. Why is my thing's on? Wow, a lot of damage. And team split again. You are red, I am blue. And then we're gonna have a red bomb too. Go ahead and get that. And that is gonna be bleed starts. Ooh, I took a second. You can go ahead and take 2 and 3, or and we can hit that cease button. Scuff equals stuff. And we can get back in the waterfall, which is yeah, over here. Much better this time. So you're going to be going east. Why is this not working? Alright, and that is a team split. I am blue, you are red. And let me quickly get to MD. And we should have bleeds coming up. That is 1. That is 2. Go ahead and invoke. And freedom. And get away. And get away. And this, we're gonna go into the next waterfall. We can, yeah, I'm preparing for P5. Go ahead and hit that cease button. And we can go into the waterfall. This time we can just go ahead and prepare to kill the boss. and we'll be heading into Cave 5. I've got the death mark. Nothing big damage. Got it. I forgot to spin my souls. That's on me. And you've got the maul. That's fantastic. You can assemble it now. I've got the death mark. This is the first one. Thank you for the dummy. Oh yeah, team split. You're right. Correct. Try and kill me from the ether. I don't know what I just did. That was terrible. Oh my gosh. Jeez. My bad. That's on me. And we can push him back and start firing off those bleeds. When you get a bleed, just go ahead and hit that freedom button. That is a bleed for you. That is another bleed for you. Or run away. And you can say you got all the bleeds that time. And big damage, big damage. And he's gonna do 3 autos and then repeat. Bringing another team split. It's kind of my fault. I didn't save the skulls. That's gonna be a team split. I got red, you got blue. And we'll try and push it back. Go ahead and finish before the reflect comes. Nope, we'll be able to. And we weren't able to. Go ahead and cease, hit that cease button. We're gonna have bleeds coming up. We can go ahead and hop on. Throw that skulls. Hop on, do some big damage. I've got the first bleed. It's fine. You've got the second bleed. Pushing back. I've got the third bleed. Okay. Mine's not working. And great job. Get in melee distance and go ahead and hit the finish button. And great work. Just gonna loot. And we'll split the energies in 2 O's for the hour. That is a successful kill. I am now stopping my recording.